Hello and welcome to The Hero Spouse. I'm Kendra Ruth, here to answer one of your questions about marriage and midlife crisis. Today we have an anonymous female left behind a forward-moving spouse with a bomb drop of July 13th, 2023 and a date of marriage of 2005. She has a clinging boomerang who is a high-energy replayer. She says, my husband is still home. We still very much live the married life with me giving him his space. He cycles frequently, sometimes daily. I'm familiar with that. I just realized while getting ready to go to bed that his overnight bag and daily meds are gone. This means he's meeting the alienator. He'll disappear for a few days and come home, probably Friday, and want to fulfill all of our weekend plans with family and friends. How do I react or respond? What boundaries do I set? I've never put specific boundaries when this happened in the past, and I need to get a boundary in place this time. So you may have heard me tell about Lingy and this basic story. I thought of the overnight bag when her husband did this all the time. She didn't set boundaries. Not a good thing. It caused her immense turmoil and anxiety. It caused her additional medical problems, and she probably hadn't been healthy already. The main one that I remember so vividly was she was working in the kitchen, and they had the window, and I believe the bedroom, there was a bedroom above. Their bedroom was downstairs, but there must have been a bedroom above, right above the kitchen, with a window right above, stacked above this bedroom window, the kitchen window, because she's working in the kitchen and suddenly dropped down an overnight bag. He was trying to sneak out. I mean, she would know he's gone on the weekend, right? But so why? He's trying to sneak out by throwing the luggage out the second-story window. So what do? You said this has happened before. So you've never put specific boundaries on when it happened before. The question I have you ever said anything? Does he ever say, I'm going away for the weekend? Or does he just disappear and you don't know? From what I recall with Lingy and Joe was an avid skier. And I think he had an RV, and he had another friend who did. And they would go on ski weekends together with, a guy friend. But that guy friend and his wife and Joe and the alienator would go on the weekends, oftentimes. So Joe could say, I'm going to be gone to Crystal Mountain and I'll be back. And sometimes he wouldn't specify how long he'd be gone, but she knew that he had getaway weekends like that, where it wasn't as big a secret in that sense, except for the fact that she was there. It looks like he's not even telling you he's leaving. That's a problem, isn't it? So yeah, we need to set boundaries, but before you set a boundary, you need to have a talk about it, right? You need to get this out. Hey, what's going on here? I see you have a bag packed. And I'm betting on this time, he's gone already. And you would probably like to know what to do when he arrives back by Friday, right? So it's not like, it's a little, in some ways that makes it a little easier, because before you saw his bag and like, what's this about? But now, oh, nothing, I just have my bag out. But now you know he was gone. He knows you know we were gone. It's not like, what, you didn't see me wandering around the house invisibly for the last 3 days? So, you didn't tell me you were going anywhere. And that's not appropriate. Not only did you not tell me, and it was a work trip. No, if it was a work trip, I think that you would have done the responsible thing and told me you were going somewhere. Basically, since you didn't tell me that you were even going to be gone, and I'm assuming right now that he's not, you leave me with only one thing to assume. And that is that you were sneaking off to do something or be with someone that you're not supposed to. And that's a problem. That is a problem in our marriage, and it's not appropriate, and it's not even allowed. So this is really hard. He'd already been, you said he's still home, but he was gone, and he came home and moved back home. What was it, March? So he was gone for a while, came home, and there were 2 alienators. Has one of them said that this is the same? Is this one of the original alienators who was 26 and 24? Or is this a different alienator? Does he have just one now? And when he comes home, what do you plan to do? Bomb drop was, it's been about 18 months, a little over 20 months. You are at a point where you don't have to do this, but I would recommend it anyway. And you could do it on the next time, because you can do it by setting a boundary and saying the next time this happens if you'd like. But it does weaken it a little bit, but at the same time there's lack of preparation, and I have a feeling you wouldn't be able to enforce it. Not just because he wouldn't allow you, sometimes they will, but I don't know that you would be able to have the strength of mind and force of mind right now to do it. But, and I know you don't want to do this. So this might be the boundary you don't do, but he's got to be kicked out. It sucks, doesn't it? So when you find out there is an active affair and he has come home, he has been gone, he has had an affair, you know they've had an affair, and then he's come home and he is trying to participate. He's playing happy married life. He's trying to participate fully in your marriage. This says so much of Joe and Helen, Joe and Lingy. And no, it's just, that is a recipe for it to keep going. It is rug sweeping, and there is, you know what, elephants don't fit under rugs, but we can see the shape of them, which means it's in the room and we can all feel the tension of it. We have to walk around it and we are aware of it. It's not rug sweeping where there's dust under it and the people that are coming in can't tell they're walking on something. It's a big thing. There's an energy to this. It is a serious toxicity in the marriage, and it's toxic to you personally for your mental health. And so the rule, and this is, and I say it because it was the rule I was told when I kicked him out and then I let him come home again, and I went to my mentor. I said, okay, you know, he's been out and, you know, I'm going to let him come home this time. What do I do? There are a few things. One of the things she said is pack a bag and sit it. She said, pack a suitcase and put it by the door. Just have it there. Didn't do that. I thought that was going overboard a little too much because I didn't want somebody coming into always for the rest of their life, and probably not the rest of their life, but to have a constant reminder of I was bad at any time, any moment I could just be out of this house. I want somebody to feel safe. But she did say, if he does it again, if you find out anything, you need to be swift. He is out the door. You kick him out. That does not, and she knew it, mean you are not standing. That does not mean you will not reconcile, any of that. But it is a boundary. And the boundary comes with when you choose to be an appropriate husband, let me know. Not you may come home. It's not you may come home. Call me. But until then, it is no contact. I went on a full no contact. I was sucked into it, of course, but I didn't. He may call you. So this is an exit clause, no contact. He may call you when he chooses to be an appropriate spouse, and you let him know. I'm doing this because I want my marriage to work. I'm doing this because you're disrespecting me and it's abusive. And yes, you use that word. What he's doing is abusive. It is mental and emotional and mental abuse. And you are not going to put up with it. And so what I want you to do, because you may not get this boundary this time, that level of it, is I want you to practice all of these things in the mirror. So let's say that this time he comes home and you have a discussion. And you discuss, you know what, that was inappropriate. And if you do it again, you need to think about this. If you're going to do that again, you need to move out first. And if you don't move out first, then I will facilitate your not being welcome here. You will not be allowed to return to my house. I will kick you out. Now, the hard thing with this is you need to do it, and he might try and get better at sneaking out. But the thing is, if he's gone for 3 days, does he travel for work? Is this something that he regularly does? Then if he's gone for just 3 days, No, that right there, just him being gone. Right now, if Chuck suddenly left and didn't come back for 3 days, well, since it hasn't happened in many, many years, that would be weird. And I'd actually be worried. I'd call the police. Where, is my husband lying in a gutter? But if we're going on this, and he were never one that had actually stayed away from home. Well, he doesn't travel for work. He works at Costco. There's no traveling. So he has no need to be gone, other than if you were in an affair and I'd known about it. That would be the only reason. So is that the only reason he has? Then if you're gone for 3 days and you especially, and you haven't told me, and if he is going to say, oh, you know what, I have a weekend trip and, it's for work, or me and the boys are going out. I don't trust him. And I want you to find a way. And I don't like this, to verify the veracity of his statements. Check and double check that what he's telling you is the truth, because it probably isn't, and he gets kicked out. I'm sorry. And I'm concerned. So I want you to think of some other things that you're going to do in the meantime, because that really is, you want to save your marriage. That's the thing. I did this. Okay. And when I say, I did this, I did what you're doing. He's come home and he left, or he left and he came home. Mine left and came home 8 times. Okay. It was the last time I tried this on those other times, and I sucked at it. I really sucked at it. It was the last time that I used that word, that phrasing. You may return when you're an appropriate spouse, and you will not have contact with me. We will not be together. And at that point, because in my situation, it's been so long, I said he couldn't return home for 12 months. It was either going to be 12 months from the time he walked out of our house or left her, depending on how soon that happened from the leaving of her. And I didn't specify which, because I was going to figure that out later. Sometimes you can keep something secret because you don't know yet the answer. But because I know what's going on here. I didn't do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. So when I ask you to do something hard, I'm coming at it from experience. That's why. And I know that you're really early on compared to where I was when I did it. I did it at the 3-year point. And you're halfway from that. And mine, at the point you're at, well, I think you're at about the point where I was had a broken foot, and he was at home. Wasn't being great. He had taken the affair underground. So we had a long year, underground affair. Then we had another piece where I discovered it again, not destroying another second bomb drop. I knew he was still in midlife crisis. But if you want this, it doesn't mean it's going to be over sooner. But if you want to get healed, you want to get strong, and you want to send him a message, hey, I love you, really. I love you. But this is not how you're going to treat me. This is not appropriate. I'm not putting up with this. I will teach you how to treat me. And you're going to treat me right. Then you're going to work up to this. You do what you can to work to this. Okay. Oh, okay. I hope this helps. And I will see everybody in the next question.